The new episode or the new video for reproduction. The chapter which we are dealing with is how do organisms reproduce, and today we are going to cover the topic about reproduction in human beings. So, before understanding the reproduction in human beings, let us understand a basic concept of growth. Now, when we are considering the concept of growth, the picture which comes to our mind is increase in height or increase in mental development and increase in emotional intelligence and IQ and so on and so forth. So, I want you to imagine a baby. A baby. Now, as we know that as the years passes by, the baby matures into a adult human being when we are seeing the example with respect to humans. Now, a baby which doesn't know to speak, a baby which doesn't know how to talk, a baby which doesn't know how to actually walk, take time to get to this stage. Now, this process is not actually instant. So, it takes time for that development from a childhood to an adult. Now, when we are seeing the childhood, at that time the basic processes which are required for the development to a whole human being starts by itself, like talking, vocabulary, speech, hearing, smell, noise, taste, and so on and so forth. But there are certain changes that doesn't happen until it reaches a period of time, and after which it is very essential for that human being to reach that state and to actually reproduce in its further stage of life. Now, when we are seeing the development, as I mentioned it before, the increase in body mass, height, intelligence, so on, mental development takes place. But around 10 years of age, there are certain maturation in the body which occurs, which actually takes or it actually shifts the whole process to a new dramatic level, where there is hormonal changes. There are certain, the whole, you can say the whole stage is upside down. Is it clear? Now those stage is known as puberty. Now puberty is also actually known as sexual maturity, is the stage of sexual maturation. Now, when we are seeing a baby, even if in the age, let us consider a baby of 5 years old, that baby still is unable to reproduce, or because they lack certain their sex organs and the germ cells are not that mature compared to adult one. So the maturation actually starts at the puberty, where they actually develop the male and the female gametes. Now, how these changes are observed in puberty? Now, the main changes are decided based on the gender. Now, here we will see about gender. In case of boys and in case of girls. In case of boys, there are certain hair growth which are observed particularly in certain part, like facial, like in face, in under your arms, in private parts, and the private parts also get darkened. That is the sign that that boy has hit puberty or has reached the puberty stage, and he is further ready to get more mature in terms of sexual maturation. Same way in case of females, the breast size or the chest size increases with darkening of nipples, and the private hair at the private part also grows. That is also a sign of maturation. Now this was the maturation with respect to physical aspects, but there are also changes which happens inside that body. Now here in case of boys, as we have seen in the last video, where there are two, as I mentioned it before, that sexual reproduction involves fusion of gametes of two different organisms, a male and a female. Now here the male has to produce gametes and the female has to produce eggs. So during the stage of puberty, the boys actually starts producing sperms, and in case of girls, they actually starts to produce eggs, which in turn is also known as ovum or ova. Now here, now this stage, at this stage, there are also hormonal changes which happens, which makes them kind of emotional. In case of boys, boys becomes more aggressive and their voice becomes more pitched, and in case of girls, there is emotional swings and so on and so forth. Now, this stage of puberty is very essential for us to learn about reproduction in human beings. As a child reaches, or a boy or a girl reaches puberty and it completes puberty at the age of 18 years, they are able to reproduce, or they are fit for reproducing. Now, in case of boys and girls, for reproducing, there has to be fusion of male gamete and the female gamete. That is the fusion of sperm and the fusion of egg. Now here, for this, there has to be the process of mating. The mating is nothing but the sperm, the process, or where two bodies join to each other to reunite or to unite the sperm and the ova inside the female body, because the female body is well developed and it is capable of harboring or to keep a child inside her organ, which is known as uterus. Now this process of reuniting of sperm and egg also involves certain other processes which we are going to see now.